Today we are going to study about spectrophlorimetry. Fluorescence is an emission phenomenon. So energy, that is when energy transition, when an electron jumps from higher energy level to lower energy level, it emits radiation of a particular wavelength, which is measured by detection of emitted radiation, and this is called as fluorescence. And in order for this transition from higher to low energy state should occur, initial excitation event must have already occurred. That means the molecule must have absorbed light, and its electron must have got excited from low energy state to high energy state. That is why it is able to return then from higher to lower energy state. Wavelength of absorbed radiation must be at lower value than emitted wavelength, because the short wavelengths have higher energy and longer wavelengths have lower energy. So you need high energy for excitation, and when the molecule returns back to its ground state, then it emits radiations of longer wavelength. Phenomenon whereby a molecule after absorbing radiation emits radiation of longer wavelength is known as fluorescence, and thus a compound which absorbs in UV region might emit radiation of longer wavelength in visible region, and this shift is known as Stokes shift. When an atom or molecule absorbs light of energy, then it lifts an electron to a higher orbital. The excited electron can return to its ground state in one single step, then it will emit radiation of the same wavelength, or it may return to the ground state in stepwise manner, then it will give energy of different wavelengths, and each wavelength the wavelength will be of longer nanometers, because the energy is less. So the radiation emitted will have longer wavelength, emitted light will have different wavelengths for each intermediate energy level. Therefore, fluorescence spectra are band spectra. Fluorescence is a short-lived phenomenon. Its time is 10 to the power minus 7 seconds. Structural features which should be present in a molecule to give rise to fluorescence are aromatic molecules, or molecules having multiple conjugated double bonds with high degree of resonance stability. They generally fluoresce, have delocalized pi electrons which can easily get excited to high energy level. Higher the number of pi electrons, higher is the fluorescence. So polycyclic aromatic compounds fluoresce more than benzene derivatives. Apart from it, those compounds which take away electron, so they decrease delocalization, like chlorine, iodine, bromine, etc. So they decrease fluorescence also. While substituents which delocalize pi electrons, they increase fluorescence. Example is NaOH, NaCH3, etc. Here is the energy diagram. When the electron is getting excited to virtual excited state and returning back in single step, it will emit same radiation. But here it is absorbing a higher amount of energy, lower wavelength, and coming back to intermediate energy step. So here it will have a longer wavelength, and here it is getting from excited from a high energy level to more high energy level and returning in a single step to lower energy level. This phenomenon is called as Rayleigh scattering. This is Stokes scattering, and this is anti-Stokes, because here from excited to more excited and then to ground state. Fluorescence is given by molecules containing non-bonding pair of electrons. Molecular rigidity is conducive for fluorescence, so molecules which have planar and rigid structures and they are sterically unhindered, they get, or uncrowded, they fluoresce more. Metal ions promote rigidity, and thus chelation helps in increasing fluorescence. Fluorescence is best observed at low concentration. So intensity of fluorescence is related to intensity of incident radiation, by IF is equal to 2.3 I0 epsilon lambda CdQ, where C is the concentration of fluorescing solution, D is the length path or light path, and epsilon lambda is molar extinction coefficient for absorbing material at that wavelength. And by this also fluorescence also follows Beer's law, so we can find the concentration of unknown material. Q is the quantum efficiency given by quanta fluoresced upon quanta absorbed. I have already told you it must first get excited, then only it will be able to fluoresce. Technique: most accurate at very low concentration. 100 picograms of NADH or catecholamines can be measured fluorimetrically, but for spectrophotometry we require 100 micrograms. So here very little quantities are required. Instrumentation: 2 monochromators are required, one before the sample and one after the sample. The source is a continuous radiant energies mercury lamp or xenon arc. It gives first monochromator, it chooses the wavelength with which the molecule has to be excited, and the second monochromator after that chooses the wavelength which is measured for fluorescence. So second monochromator after sample enables determination of fluorescence spectra. Detector is photomultiplier tube or and then amplifier to measure the amount of emitted radiation. Here this is the flow diagram, this is light source, this is the collimating device and choosing the wavelength. Monochromator P1 is present, it will choose a wavelength with which the sample has to be irradiated. Second monochromator is kept at right angles because emission takes place in all direction, while transmittance takes place in straight line. That's why second monochromator is kept here. It chooses the wavelength which is the sample emits maximally, and by that concentration of substance is detected by detector, which is then sent to recorder. Applications of fluorescence spectrometry are qualitative analysis, comparison of fluorescence spectra and absorption spectra tell us about the identity of the compound. Quantitative analysis, we can measure the concentration, includes assays of riboflavin, thiamine, hormones like cortisol, estrogen, etc. Intracellular free calcium concentration can be measured. Fluorescent probes are used to study membrane structure, and fluorescence immunoassay is also done.